Okay, today we're doing Module 4 N.RN.2 Level 4 Reteach. We're going to simplify each expression. So if you remember looking at that chart, I'm looking for the biggest perfect square because we know there's really a 2 here, but we never write it. So I start with 1, which we never do. Then I start with 4. 4 works. 4 times 10, and then x to the 8th. Remember, we want things that are divisible by 2 to go for the exponent. So these are the perfect one. So I'm going to take the square root of 4 is 2, and keep in mind this is what I'm doing in my head. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so it's going to be x to the 4th square root of 10. Taking a look at this, 25 is perfect. I already know that, but now that x to the 7th isn't. So I need to break that down. I got to find the biggest even number, which is x to the 6th and x. So I'm going to underline the 25. Square root of 25 is 5. 6 divided by 2 is 3, because that's really what I'm doing in my head. And then I'm just going to leave what's not perfect underneath the radical. 49 is perfect. A to the 2nd, a to the 8th is perfect, and x to the 12th is perfect. So the square root of 49 is 7. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Taking a look at the next one, 32. I gotta find the biggest perfect square. Now, I could do 4 and 8, but we talked about that on the last video. I don't like 4 and 8 because 4 is not the biggest one. I gotta look for the biggest one. You can do 4 and 8, but then it's the more scenic route. I'm going to do 16 times 2. Remember, my trick is try to divide by 2, see if you can get the perfect square. Now, this m to the 6th, m, and then it's n to the 10th, n. There's really a 1 here. So I'm going to underline the things that are perfect. Square root of 16 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 10 divided by 2 is 5, and that's going to leave me 2mn. Taking a look at this one, got to find the biggest one. So again, I'm looking, and I notice it's going to be 4 times 5. X to the 10th is perfect. I love it. Y to the 5th, not so good, so I got to look for the biggest one. So it's 4 and 5. I'm going to cross those, underline those, because those are perfect. Square root of 4 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And what's not perfect is the stuff that I didn't underline, so that is the stuff that goes underneath. Taking a look at this one, 100's perfect, and b to the 4th is perfect, so it's just going to take the square root of 100 is 10, and 4 divided by 2 is 2, and I'm just going to leave the a. Taking a look at the next one, I have 75. Anytime I see 75, I think of money because I like money, so I think of 25. So it's 25 times 3. X to the 8th is perfect. Y to the 3rd is not. So I got to do y to the 2nd and y. Underline the things that are perfect. The square root of 25 is 5. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And what's not perfect, you just leave underneath. And we're done. 98. Remember my hint. Oh, divide by 2. See if you could find the perfect square. So I divided by 2, and I found it. It's 49 times 2. Now, the x to the 6th and x and y to the 4th and y. Because I want to get the even exponent. I got to find the biggest one. So, square root of 49 is 7. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And what's not perfect is what goes underneath the radical, is the 2, the x, and the y. Taking a look at the next one. This 3 is the whole number. I'm just going to bring it down. Got to find the biggest perfect square, and I notice it's 4 and 10, x to the 2nd, y to the 6th. Underline the things that are perfect. The square root of 4 is 2, so it's going to be 3 times 2. 2 divided by 2 is x. 6 divided by 2 is 3, square root of 10. Then I multiply that, and I get 6xy to the 3rd square root of 10. Taking a look at the next one, got to find the biggest perfect square, so it's 5. And then I do 4 times 5, x to the 4th. And 4 is the perfect square, so I know it's going to be 5 times 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. I'm going to leave that 5 underneath, so my answer would be 10x to the second, 5. Aha, biggest perfect square, 63. So I'm going to go on my chart, try with 1, never do 1, try 4, try 9. Yes, 9 it is. 9 times 7, x to the 4th, y. Underline the x to the 4th and 9. Square root of 9 is 3, so 4 times 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and I'm going to have a 7y. So my final answer is negative 12, x to the second, 7y. Taking a look at the next one. Again, I got to find the biggest perfect square. The biggest perfect square, divide by 2. It sometimes works. If I divide by 2 and I notice it's 16. Yes, and then it's a to the 6th, a, b to the 4th, and c. Underline the 6th, 16, and the 4. The square root of 16 is 4, so 2 times 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. What's left is 2ac. 2 times 4 is 8. A to the 3rd, b to the 2nd, 2ac. Taking a look at the next one, I gotta find that biggest perfect square. And when I do, I notice it is going to be 16. 16 times 5, a to the 4th, a, b to the 2nd, c to the 6th, and c. Underline the ones that have even exponents. And then I get a negative 2 times 4, a to the 2nd. Because 4 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then I'm going to get a 5ac. My answer is negative 8a2, b, c to the 3rd, 5ac. Taking a look at the next one. This is perfect, but the y to the 9th isn't, so I'm going to bring it all down. I'm going to underline it. I'm going to break my exponent down. Hopefully the exponents are getting easier. So the square root of 121 is 11. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Square root of y, I just got to multiply. I get negative 22. X to the 7th, y to the 4th, square root of y. Taking a look at the next one, got to find the biggest perfect square. The biggest perfect square is 4. So it's 4, and then I do 4 times 6. And then I do x to the 4th, x, and y to the 8th. Underline the even exponents. Square root of 4 is 2, so 4 times 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And I'm just going to leave the 6x. And I'm going to get 8x to the 2nd, y to the 4th, 6x. Taking a look at the next page. Taking a look at the next page, we are going to see how we're doing the 4th. So you're going to take the 4th column on your chart, and you got to find out what can go into 256. 256 is perfect. Okay, but the ends to the 9th is not. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take this 2. I need to make that multiples of 4. So this was going to be n to the 8th. N, and then p to the 12th, because 12 can go into 4. I'm going to underline the 3 things that are perfect. The 4th of 256 is 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. And what's not perfect is n. Don't forget the little 4 up there, and you're done. 289, well, that's a perfect square root, so it's just going to be 17 square root of m. Taking a look at this one, I got to go on the 5th column. I'm going to try 32. Does 32 go into 128? Oh, it sure does. So I'm going to take 32 times 4. Got to break this down to multiples of 5. So a to the 5th, a, and b to the 10th. I'm looking for multiples of 5. The 5th of 32 is 2. 5 divided by 5 is a. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and what's not perfect is 4a. Don't forget the little 5, and you are done. Taking a look at this, we're doing the cube. Going on the 3rd one. I notice that 250 can be divided by 125, so it's 125 times 2. I've got to break this down to multiples of 3. So 3 plus 2 is 5. The cube of 125 is 5. 3 divided by 5. 3 divided by 3 is 5. And then what's not perfect is 2x to the second. Taking a look at the next one. What's perfect in here? A negative 40 would be a negative 8 times 5n to the second. The cubed of negative 8 is negative 2. And I can't take anything else out, so I'm just going to put 3n to the second. Then 375, again, my favorite one is 125. So I'm going to take that, 125. Got to break this into multiples of 3. And I can't do anything with the b. Underline these. The cube of 125 is 5. 3 divided by 3 is a. Don't forget the 3. And then I'm just going to have a to the second b. Now let's take a look at these. Determine the value of x for the following equation. So for me, I'm going to write this one up because I know that there's a 1 here and a 2 here. So I want to see what that is. So I know it's y, and it would be 2 1/2. Aha. So that has to be what this is. So x, if this was 2, y to the second, and if this was a half, and if I distribute it, it would be 2 1/2, and this would just come down to a y, which means I would have had to take the square root, and it would be, so x has to be 1/2. I got to think backwards. I got to think outside the box. This one, I know this would be 144, and technically the 2 and the 1 would be here. Well, what's square root of 144 is 12. So this would be 12x. This would technically be 12 to the first power. So x has to be x equals 1. Thanks for listening and have a fantastic day. Bye.